Jai Gurudev. Today we will read a book, The Integrated Science of Yagna. In this book, a brief account of Yagna is presented. Scientific basis of the major effect of Yagna is discussed along with some findings of modern research on its effects on healthcare and purification of the environment. Psychological and spiritual benefits are also highlighted in brief. Chapter 1. Origin and Philosophical Foundation of Yagna. A brief introduction. Gayatri and Yagna are described as the pillar of Indian philosophy and culture. The eternal source of universal knowledge comprised in the Gayatri mantra is deciphered, and the cosmic energy of the sound contained in mantra is activated and expanded with the help of Yagna. The four Vedas signifies the philosophy of the eternity and absolute complementary role of Gayatri and Yagna in the divine creation. Atharva Veda also deals with the sound therapy aspects of mantras for the treatment of aligning human system at the physical, psychological and spiritual levels. The Samveda focuses on the musical chanting pattern of the mantras and subtle form of Yagna by defining the latter as a process of mental oblation on the surface of internal emotions through the cosmic radiation of the omnipresent subtle energy of sound. The Yajurveda contains the knowledge of principles and method of performing yagnas as spiritual and scientific experiments for global welfare. Literally speaking, yagna means selfless sacrifice for noble purposes. Sacrificing of the ego, selflessness and material attachment and adopting rational thinking, humane compassion and dedicated creativity for the welfare of all is indeed the best yagna which should be performed by all human beings. The philosophy of yagna teaches a way of living in the society in harmony, a living style to promote and protect higher humane values in the society, which is indeed the basis of the ideal human culture. The Seva Yagna, altruist service of the society, is the noble example of Yagna. The Gyan Yagna similarly implies the service of people by enlightening their lives in the glow of knowledge and education. The Pran Yagna implies the service of the saving life of people from suffering and agonies and inspiring liveliness and respect for life in them. A variety of such yagnas are described in the Shastras. This book focuses on the yagnas performed for the physical experimentation. In physical terms, yagna is a process aimed at the refinement of a subtle energy existing in matter with the help of a thermal energy of the mantras. The knowledge of philosophy and science of yagna is essential for understanding and experimenting the science of spirituality, as the knowledge of elementary physics is for material-based sciences. The experiments of yagna, when performed at the small scale in day-to-day life, are called havan or agnihotra. End of chapter 1. Chapter 2. Scientific aspects of yagna. There are two basic energy systems in the physical world, heat and sound. In performing yagna, there are two energies, namely the heat from the yagna's fire and the sound of the Gayatri and the other mantras are combined to achieve the desired physical, psychological and spiritual benefits. The fumigation of specific substance in the yagna. Fire is a scientific method of subtilization of matter into energy and expanding its potential and positive effects in the surrounding atmosphere. The electromagnetic waves generated thereby help in transmitting a cosmic level the desired sonic signals stored in the mantras, which are chanted during the process of sacrificing the specific material in the fire. fumigating substances used in yagna. In order to get an idea of the various chemical changes which take place, it's essential to know the various substances offered in yagna. They are principally as described below. Wood. Wood has to be dry and free from dust, insects, and worms. The wood is cut in small sticks of various lengths called samidas according to the size of the altar or Agni Kunda. Principal types of wood used are the following: 1. Sandalwood. 2. Agar and Tugger wood. 3. Deodar. 4. Mango. 5. Dhak or Palash. 6. Bilwa. 7. Peepal. 8. Bargat. 9. Shami. 10. Gular. In addition to wood, various Havan Samagri are offered in Yagna can be divided into the following 4 groups. Odoriferous substances. These are saffron, musk, agar, tugger, chandan, ilaichi, jaifal, javetri, and camphor. Substances with healthy constituents. These are clarified butter, that's ghee, milk, fruits, and cereals like wheat, rice, barley, til, kangu, munga, chana, agar, masur, and peas. Sweet substances. These usually are sugar, dried grapes, honey, or chura. Medicinal herbs. These are used as per specific requirements. Some common herbs are somlata or gilohi, brahmi, shankapushpi, nagakeshar, mulhati, red chandan, bahida, saunt, and harad. Nowadays, Havan Samagri is readily available in the market consisting of following substance in the crude powder form: sawdust of sandalwood and pine wood, the agar and tugger wood chips, kapur, kacheri, gugal, nagar motha, balchar or jatamashi, nar kachura, sugandbala, ilaichi, jaifal, clove, and dalchini. Product of combustion. At the onset, it can be said that the interpretation of process of combustion in the yagna in the physical scientific term is rather difficult due to the following reasons. 1. The properties of substances which are used is vastly varies. 2nd, the condition under which combustion takes place remains unspecified. The product of combustion depends on the following factors like A. The nature of the substances used and their proportions. B. Temperature attended. C. Controlled supply of air. And D. Interaction amongst the various products formed. Vaporization of wood. Besides complete combustion of cellulose material of wood, it is also subjected to vaporization. This happens due to the ways samidas are arranged in the Agnikunda, the condition of temperature and air supply which prevails in it. Steam volatilization of odorous substances. The temperature attended in the kunda varies between 250 degrees Celsius and 600 degrees Celsius, while in actual flames it can go as high as 1200 degrees Celsius to 1300 degrees Celsius. The boiling points of volatile constituents get diffused in the surrounding atmosphere. Also, when cellulose and other carbohydrates undergo combustion, steam is formed in copious quantities by the combination of hydrogen of organic substances with the oxygen. This is how the substances like thymol, eugenol, pinene, terpenol, etc. are carried over the surroundings, and the aroma of the yagna can be felt even at the considerable distance. In addition to steam, smoke is also given out in copious quantities, and the solid particles existing in the higher divided state offer sufficient surface for the mechanical diffusion. Thus, smoke also functions as colloidal particles for diffusion of volatile aromatic substances depending on temperature and the direction of the wind. Combustion of fatty substances. The fatty substances used in yagna are mainly ghee and other fatty substances of vegetable origin. Ghee helps in rapid combustion of cellulose of wood and keeps fire alight. All fatty substances used in combustions of fatty acids which volatilize easily. The combustion of glycerol portion gives acetone bodies, pyruvic aldehyde and glyroxal, etc. The hydrocarbons produced in the reaction again undergo slow combustion, and as a result methyl and ethyl alcohols, formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, formic acid and acetic acids are formed. Photochemical process. When all the volatile substances are diffused in the surrounding atmosphere, these are further subjected to photochemical reactions in the sunlight. This may be reason why it has been recommended that yagna should be performed in the presence of strong sunlight. These changes occur in the ultraviolet and other short wavelength regions. The products of fumigation thus go photochemical decomposition, oxidation, and reduction. To some extent, even CO2 is also reduced to formaldehyde as follows: CO2 plus H2O plus 112,000 Cal equal to HCHO equal to O2. From environmental purification, reduction of CO2 produced in yagna as above and liberation of oxygen cannot be overlooked. Inverted pyramid shape Agnikunda. The word pyramid means the fire in the middle. This ancient word meaning for pyramid is closely connected with the inexplicable energies emanating from its central shape. The pyramid shape is widely experienced to generate and store a special energy field which possesses bacteriostatic properties. The inverted pyramid shape of the Agnikunda, also called Havan Kunda, allows controlled generation and multi-directional dissipation of energy. It acts as a generator of unusual energy fields and spread them in its surrounding atmosphere. For a daily Agnihotra, Bali Vaishyava, a small copper pot is used. The inverted pyramid-shaped Agnihotra pot receives, generates, and decentralizes electrosphere. It acts as an effective bacteriostatic and antimicrobial reactor. Copper is universally acknowledged for its excellent conduction of electricity and heat. The Agnihotra has an obvious link with fire, heat, electromagnetic force, and because of its inverted pyramid shape, Kunda, it does have a connection with the cosmic energy fields. The dimensions of the copper pot used for the daily Agnihotras are 14.5 cm by 14.5 cm at the top, 5.25 cm by 5.25 cm at the bottom, and 6.5 centimeters in height with the 3 steps. For large-scale yagnas, the dimensions are increased proportionately, and the kundas are also made up of specific combustions of clays. Apart from the pyramid shape, some other special symmetric geometrically design are also used according to the kind of energy fields and the cosmic current required to be generated by the yagna. Specific type of kundas are recommended for different kinds of yagnas. Chanting of Sanskrit mantras. The power of sound vibration is long since acknowledged in the field of science. This vibration can penetrate the energy sphere at the subtle and cosmic levels. All the alphabets of the Sanskrit language are endowed with a special vibrational power which sets out harmonious waves pattern when pronounced. It is interesting to note that Dr. Howard Stengel, an American scientist, has established that recitation of Gayatri Mantra produces 110,000 sound waves per second. In fact, recitation of Gayatri Mantra during the fire worship, that is yagna, acts supplementary. The patterns of chanting of mantra are so designed that they latently contain the essence of the music or the quite essential sound of the torrent of life substanding energies emanating from the cosmic energy center of the corresponding mantras. The cosmic energy center of deity associated with the Gayatri Mantra is Sun. Uttering of this mantra produces vibrations which are soothing to human minds, all plants, and animal life. This vibration also helps in spreading specific energy waves in the surrounding atmosphere as the oblations are offered. Chapter 3: Purification of Environment by Yagna. The industrial wastes, rapid urbanization, deforestation, air and water pollution, disturbance in the ozone layer formation, radioactive waves, etc. have destabilized the human, animal, and plant life cycle. The ecological imbalance caused by this act of civilized man has resulted in disastrous threat not only to human survival but to the life as a whole on our planet. Till recently, it was accepted that research into science can furnish answer to all of man's problems. Today we find increasing number of diseases including malfunctioning of body organs due to increasing severity of pollution in the atmosphere. Ozone layer depletion has been causing alignment like sunburn, skin cancer, cataracts, and weakness of the immune system. Viruses are becoming drug resistant and showing consistent growth trends. Experimental studies shows that the incidence of physical alignments, sicknesses, and the disease are reduced in the house where the yagna, that is Agnihotra, is regularly performed because it creates a pure, nutritional, and medicinal atmosphere. It renews the brain cells, revitalizes the skin, purifies blood, and prevents growth of pathogenic organisms. Agnihotra is basically a healing process. Heal the atmosphere, and the healed atmosphere will heal you. Purification of environment through the constituent electrons of the substances fumigated in the yagna is an obvious effect of this process. The observation of some distinguished scientists are noteworthy in this regards. Dr. Hopkins has mentioned that mixing ghee and sugar and burning them creates smoke which kills the germs of certain diseases, and secretion takes place from some glands related to the windpipe, which fills our heart and mind with pleasure. Sugar present in Hawishya has great power to purify the atmosphere. It kills the germs of TB, measles, smallpox, and cowpox, remarked by Professor Dilwad. According to Dr. Shirovich, a Russian scientist, has remarked that 1. Cow's milk contains great power of protection from atomic radiation. 2. House having cow dung covered floor enjoys complete protection from atomic radiation. 3. If cow's ghee is put in yagna fire, its fumes lessen the effect of atomic radiation to a great extent. The medicinal fumes emanating from Agnihotra has been observed by researchers in the field of microbiology to be clearly bacteriolethal in nature. This eradicates bacteria and other microorganisms which are the root cause of illnesses and diseases. This must be the reason why the incidence of physical alignment, sicknesses and diseases becomes less in the household where the Agnihotra is regularly performed. Even without going into detailed chemical bacteriology, it can be stated that the performance of yagna leads to purification of air. This takes place in the following 4 ways. 1. Removal of foul odor. As already stated, under steam volatilization, the various volatile oils get diffused in the surrounding atmosphere along with the steam and smoke. Since this oil has distinct good smell, the foul odor are automatically replaced. This aroma can be experienced easily in the surroundings when yagna is performed due to diffusion of substances like thymol, eugenol, pine, terpenol, and the oil of sandalwood, camphor, and clove. 2. Removal of bacteria. As stated under products of combustion, the partial oxidation of hydrocarbons and decomposition of complex organic substances produce formaldehyde, which is a powerful antiseptic. It is also interesting to note that germicidal action of formaldehyde is only effective in the presence of water vapor, which is also produced in large quantities in yagna. The use of formaldehyde spray for disinfecting of walls, ceiling, etc. is common, and such a spray is automatically produced when yagna is performed. The oxidation of hydrocarbons also produces formic acid and acetic acid, both of which are good disinfectants. Use of formic acid for preservation of fruits and that of acetic acid in preserving vinegar is a common practice. The antiseptic and antibiotic effects of fumes of yagna have also been examined by conducting suitable experiments on rabbits and mice, and it has been established that fumes emitted in yagna are powerful antibiotics. Agnihotra ashes purifies and cleans the water, making it fit for drinking. 3. Removal of insects. There are non-bacterial parasites like flies, ringworm, lice, fleas, etc., which are immune to bactericides, which are also harmful to other living beings. Such insects, which are generally immune to ordinary reagents, however, they either get killed or are driven away when they come in contact with the fumes of volatile oil like camphor diffused in the environment. 4. Effects of plants and vegetation. The disinfection of air is not only useful to animal life but also helps plants' life, though the bacteria responsible for diseases in both may be different. The aromatic substances during yagna get diffused in the air and offer protection to plant life against harmful organisms. This ensures healthy plant growth. Agnihotra's atmosphere and ashes can be used as adjuvant in the natural farming method, also known as the Agnihotra farming method. It is a holistic concept of growing plants in the healthy atmosphere and maintaining ecological balance by performing Agnihotra, that is Yagna, in the middle of the farm and using the Yagna ashes as a fertilizer. It is not only safe and productive but also holistic in its approach towards environment. 5. Role of carbon dioxide generated in Yagna. Consignment of the wood and the other organic matter to flames has been always controversial because of generation of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide and increase in consequence greenhouse effect. It has been argued that performance of yagna also produces carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. It should be noted here that the way in which the samhita and havishya are burned in yagna is a process of slow combustion at higher temperature. While the burning of the coal in factories or in the household fire involves rapid combustion, where oxygen is sucked in large quantities and enormous carbon dioxide is emitted. In the slow combustion taking place in the process of yagna, small quantity of oxygen is utilized. Meager carbon dioxide is emitted that pose no threat to the environment. In fact, whatever carbon dioxide is generated, it is readily absorbed by the surrounding vegetation and carbon dioxide cycle is strengthened. The other important aspect is the fact that carbon dioxide produced in yagna is not always free carbon dioxide, but it remains mixed with other aromatic oils and antiseptic products. It therefore acts as a vehicle in transporting such products to distant surroundings. The use of carbon dioxide as a cerebral stimulant to assess the patients suffering from lack of ventilation is common in medicinal world. Its use to control and cure many mental disorders is also known to medical science. Small amount of carbon dioxide inhaled by the person performing yagna acts as a stimulant and more aromatic fumes are inhaled which helps in curing mental disorders. Particularly effective results with respect to the elimination or reduction in radiation were achieved through yagna's fire and ashes. This observation are made by Dr. L. Miela Anatonen-Hauska of Poland after using PSI techniques. 6. Result of some recent experiments. A group of scientists led by Dr. Manoj Garg, Director, Environment and Technology Consultant at the Uttar Pradesh Pollution Control Board, conducted experiments during the Ashwamedh Yagna at Gorakhpur, UP. These experiments were set up at about 20 meters east from the Yagnashala. The samples of 100 ml each of water and air collected from the surroundings were analyzed using high volume of Envirotech APM45 and other sensitive instruments. A summary of these results is in Akhand Jyot, September 1997, page 22, is presented below. In air sample, which is measured as unit milligram per average sample. Before yagna, the level of sulfur dioxide was 3.36, During Yagna, it was 2.82 and after Yagna, it was 0.80, while the level of nitrogen oxide before Yagna was 1.16, during Yagna, it was 1.14 and after Yagna, it was 1.02. Bacteria counts in average water samples before Yagna was 4,500. During Yagna, it was 2,470 and after Yagna, 1,250. Minerals in the ashes, bhasma, of Yagna. Phosphorus, 4,076 mg per kg. Potassium, 3,407 mg per kg. Calcium, 7,822 mg per kg. Magnesium, 6,424 mg per kg. Nitrogen, 32 mg per kg. And phosphor, 2% weight by weight. These results clearly support the claim made about the role of Yagna in control of air pollution. The Deputy Director of Agriculture has submitted a technical report based on such results, recommending the use of Yagna's ashes as an effective fertilizer. Comparable results were also obtained by the scientific experiments conducted in about 27 large-scale Yagna organized by Shantikunj Haridwar in India and abroad during 1993 to 1995. Chapter 4. Yagnopathy, Medicinal Application of Yagna. Amidst the fascinating achievement of the modern era of science and technology in improving our comfort levels, stress and pollution have posed the major challenges of man. The world is beginning to realize that the comfort provided to us by a modern science and technology do not necessarily always make life easier. In fact, apart from greater stress and tension, more unknown diseases, untold anxiety, and fear is caused by the highly polluted environment and ecological imbalance. This has raised alarming call for rethinking and guiding the common lifestyle. Yagna appears to be a boon of an ancient Indian science for achieving this purpose. In a physical laboratory, it might not be possible to demonstrate the spiritual effect of Yagna, but the physical and mental effects of Yagna can be certainly tested, and the claim to cure physical and mental diseases through Yagna can be verified. The Brahmacharya Shuddha Sanstha, a scientific research center in Haridwar, India, has taken up research on this aspect of Yagna. It is to be noted here that the traditional system of treatment of physical diseases employ medicines which are mostly administered orally. They therefore produce effects only after they have been digested and absorbed into the system. Most part of the medicine taken orally is not utilized by the digestive system. Such medicines may also upset digestion seriously. The same is more or less true for medicines directly injected in the blood. They produce results quicker, but their adverse side effects are often more pronounced. White corpuscles of the blood resent intrusion of any foreign bodies into the blood, and sometimes the reaction of the system to the sudden, massive, and direct intrusion of the foreign matters in the blood through injection proves most serious and even fatal. In Yagna, medicines and herbs are vaporized by offering them into the sacrificial fire, and they enter the human body in the gaseous form through the nose, lungs, and the pores of the skin. This might be proved to be the easiest, least taxing, least risky, and most effective method of administering a medicine so as to reach every single cell of the body. The possibility of curing mental diseases by yagna are even more alluring. Diagnosis and treatment of mental disorders is still in its infancy in the modern system of treatment. There are neither well-established diagnostic aids nor any recognized system of treatment of diseases like neurosis, psychosis, schizophrenia, depression, tension, melancholia, mania, hysteria, etc. On the other hand, psychosomatic diseases are even more rampant than physical diseases, and they wreck the man more than the latter. Manifestation of psychosomatic diseases, except in extreme and advanced cases, are not so apparent, and that may explain why enough attention has not been paid to them. The stress and the strain of modern life, degradation of social behavior, and fall in moral values all around are contributing to an alarming increase in psychosomatic diseases. Yagna might offer a solution to this serious problem as well. The techniques of yagna for the treatment of physical and mental diseases does not comprise mere vaporization of the constitutes or herbs to be employed, but various samhithas are offered into the sacrificial fire of yagna to create a desired effect. Research on all this aspect of yagna is being conducted in the laboratory of Brahmavarchas. It might well lead to the development of the scientifically established yagnopathy, which may find not only an honored but a leading place in other therapies of the world like allopathy, homeopathy, chromopathy, naturopathy, etc. Looking to the high intellectual caliber and attainments of those who are engaged in research, Yagyopathy may come into being sooner than expected, and it may rank an unique achievement of the modern age. Chapter 4. Results of Research in Scientific Laboratories. In his study, Dr. Salvamurthy has observed neurophysiological effect of the mantras of a special kind of Agnihotra that is described in the next section, which is performed at the time of sunset. In this experimental study, 8 healthy men were chosen as subjects. They used to report at 4 p.m. on 2 consecutive days. First day for controlled recording when rituals of Agnihotra were performed, but instead of the prescribed mantras, some irrelevant syllables were uttered at specific time periods. Next day evening, the Agnihotra used to be performed with the proper mantras. Recordings of physiological parameters, that is heart rate, ECG, EEG, GSR, blood pressure were made on both days. The results showed that while the mind, that is brain waves, remained unaltered before Agnihotra, significant changes occurred after the proper Agnihotra. This included 1. GSR remained significantly higher due to a proper Agnihotra. 2. ECG showed DC shift in a baseline. 3. EEG showed alpha enhancement and delta suppression for more than 15 minutes. In recent years, the science of medicine has begun to recognize the role of psychology in prevention and cure of malady. As the atmosphere, pran, and mind are interlinked, the individuals automatically experience relaxation, peace, unburdening of the mind, loss of worries, and stress in the yagna atmosphere. The increase in the level of pran, that is vital energy, in the atmosphere where a yagna is performed was also recorded with the help of Kirkland photographs of human hands before and after yagna in the experiment conducted by Dr. Matthias Furbinger of Germany. The atmosphere surrounding the place where the yagna is being performed and the ash produced in the kunda has been found useful in healing nervous system disorders, asthma, heart diseases, lung infection, a wide variety of skin diseases, and the diseases of the eye and ears. Analysis of ash has indicated that it contains certain ingredients which soothes, pacifies, and tranquilize the mind. Some case studies. A. Drug and alcoholic addiction. An officer of 25 years age who had been a polydrug abuser in the past was selected for the study by Lieutenant Colonel G.R. Golecha, a senior advisor in a psychiatry division of the Indian Army. The patient was addicted to heroin for last 2 years. He had undergone some de-addiction courses twice in past with no benefits and had become resistant to such methods. He was then introduced to Agnihotra. A rating scale was developed by Dr. Golecha to roughly qualify and compare the improvement. The practice of Agnihotra resulted in improving his psychology to abstain from the smack and significant decrease of his urge of it within few weeks was caused. Conclusion: Agnihotra helps drug addicts to get over their craving for drugs because Agnihotra removes negative stereotype thoughts and motivates for positive approach by love and compassion. All the psychotherapeutic advances have failed to control a habitual addict. Agnihotra is a new hope in this field. Case study B. Diabetes and Agnihotra. Name of the patient: Pandurang M. Patil. Case: 1-year-old diabetic. Before starting Agnihotra, his blood sugar was 285 during fasting and post-lunch blood sugar was 530. And after performing daily Agnihotra, his blood sugar while fasting was 95 and blood sugar post-lunch was 120. The above case report results have been furnished by Medicare Pathology Laboratory. Conclusion: the above cases suggest that daily Agnihotra will be useful in treating a diabetic patient of any age at any level within 3 to 6 months. Case study C. Bhopal gas tragedy and Agnihotra. The incident occurred on the deadly night of December 3, 1984, when the poisonous MIC gas leaked from Union Carbide. Hundreds of people died and thousands were hospitalized. There were, however, 2 families of Sri Sohanlal S. Khushwaha and Sri M. L. Rathod, which lived in the worst affected area, 1 mile away from the plant came out unscattered as they were regularly performing Agnihotra, that is Havan. In these families, no one died. Nobody were even hospitalized despite of being present in the area worst hit by the toxic gas. This observation proves that Agnihotra is a powerful antidote to pollution. The Yagyapathy Lab at Brahmavarchas. The Brahmavarchas Research Center was established by Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya in 1979. It is situated at Saptasharovar Road, about 6 kilometers away from Haridwar station towards Rishikesh in India. This center is actively working for the integration of the modern and ancient science. Innovative scientific research is being carried out in the science of spirituality. Apart from the dedicated team of scientists, doctors, and engineers, and other scholars of high caliber, well-equipped laboratories for relevant research in the different scientific disciplines, including neurology, biochemistry, hematology, phytochemistry, and sound therapy, etc. are present. Other features of attraction over here are the botanical garden of about 450 herbs, which includes some rare species of Himalayan herbs and Yagyapathy labs. The Yagyapathy laboratory has a Havan Kund placed in a gas chamber. A gas analysis wing for the collection and analysis of fumes and vapors of yagna is at work. The efficiency of various ingredients of the Havishya and the Samidas are assessed in the phytochemistry lab, which is well equipped for analytical purposes with gas liquid chromatograph. Blood samples are kept in the glass chamber when it is full of fumes and vapors of the daily yagna, that is Havan, and changes in the blood biochemistry and hematological characters are assessed in these samples. A large number of experiments are carried out on healthy and diseased persons living on the campus for specific periods. The subjects include the sadhak as well as non-sadhaks of all age groups, men and women from all walks of life, irrespective of their social or religious background. During such experiments, the subject sits in the glass chamber and inhales the fume of yagna for a specific period. A thorough analysis of their body and mind is made before and after performing these experiments. Hematological parameters like HB, TRBC, platelets, RBC fragility, etc. Biochemical changes like those in the level of blood urea, sugar, cholesterol, creatinine, SGOT, SGPT, etc. are estimated. The immunological changes like the antibody levels and innate immunity towards various pathogenic offending organisms is also assessed. Various hormones like cortisol, thyroxine, ACTH, androgens, etc. are assessed in the endocrinology lab. The EEG, EMG, and ECG recordings are carried out in a neurophysiology lab. The psychochemistry lab assesses the aptitude, learning potential, memory, the intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and all over personality makeup of the subjects. The cases are followed on regular after treatment with yagna for a week or a month. The technical details and results of experimental research will be published subsequently in the relevant scientific journal for the therapeutic use of different herbs by means of yagna, and research pursued on herbal medicines to save way for other scientific application of yagna. The general application of the results obtained so far is that performing yagna significantly enhance the vitality and resistance against adverse meteoroid biological changes and the invasion of otherwise lethal viruses and bacteria. Mental peace, emotional stability, and creative development of the mind are outer fruitful observation of research on the psychological fronts. The experimental studies in this lab would also be extended to animals, birds, and plants to see how the energy released by yagna affects the animal and vegetable kingdoms and the environment as a whole. Chapter 5. A simple Agnihotra for daily practice. Environmental pollution and mechanical approach of today's life is adversely affecting the human mind and body. Increase in the incidence of a wide variety of disease and the downfall of moral values, adding to stress, strain, hatred, jealousy, lust, enmity, and violence witnessed in our daily interaction with people stand as a proof of this deplorable state of life. We also notice that the remedies which appeared effectively only a few years ago have now started inducing side effects which are undesirable. Until and unless the environmental toxins and demoralizing factors are neutralized at the same rate with which they are spread, there is a little hope of healthy survival. Sustaining the ecological balance, purifying environment, and developing healthy body and mind are the tasks which are demanding timely action from each and every individual. A simple Agnihotra called Balivaishya is a practice which can be considered as the cheapest and simplest positive effort in this regard, if performed as an essential activity of a daily life. The process of performing daily Agnihotra, as described below, is very simple, inexpensive, and requires only few minutes to perform. Yet it is very effective and beneficial in all eventualities. Performance of the yagna, that is Agnihotra, is free from the barriers of nationality, caste, creed, religion, age, or sex, etc. Anyone who wants to be healthy, happy, and stress-free should start performing Agnihotra at the first available opportunity. In the Balivaishya Agnihotra, 5 morsels of fresh vegetarian food are offered every day before taking the meals in the morning and evening. These offerings are made in the fire lit on the cow dung cake kept in the copper pot, that is kunda, with the chanting of the Gayatri Mantra. The detailed survey and systematic studies made by the Brahmavarchas Shodh Sanstha have shown that the physical health and psychological development of the members of the families where Balivaishya is performed regularly is of excellent order. Generally, happy and healthful atmosphere is found in such houses. Another kind of Agnihotra, which is specifically tuned with the biological clock and the vital energy cycle, has been studied by the Institute of Studies in Vedic Sciences located in Akalkot, district Solapur in Maharashtra, India. This institute is acting as a network for evaluating the experiences of people who perform Agnihotra on the basis of results obtained from time to time. The main features of this Agnihotra are described below. 1. Biological clocks and Agnihotra timings. Sunrise and sunset are two most important transitional epochs of a day on our planet. They exert tremendous impact on living organisms. During this period, changes of great magnitude take place in the ecosphere which cause vital impact on life and environment. Synchronizing performance of Agnihotra with these activated moments result in attracting a stream of vital, life-sustaining energies of the solar system. The daily fluctuation in the body temperature, heart rate, and blood pressure have been found associated with these exact moments. The science of yoga and Nadi system too have been observed to be greatly influenced by these planetary transitional moments. The breathing pattern automatically undergo drastic changes. These physical changes and readjustments have great impact on psychosomatic makeup of human beings. Hence, the process of Agnihotra, which coincides with them, plays an important role in harmonizing the natural functioning of human mind and body. The beneficial effects of sunrise Agnihotra sustains the atmosphere till sunset, and the sunset Agnihotra sustains the atmosphere till the sunrise. In this manner, an unending and active healing cycle is established in the houses where this Agnihotra is performed every day. 2. Cow dung cake. Importance and medicinal qualities of cow products have been known since time immemorial and form a part of day-to-day usage. Cow dung contains plenty of menthol, ammonia, phenol, indole components, formalin, and it eradicates the pathogenic microorganisms. Fresh cow dung possesses medicinal and curative properties. It is proven fact that tremendous active beneficial properties are inherent in the cow dung cake and in fumes of that emits after burning it. Some Russian scientists have observed even anti-radiational properties of cow dungs. 3. Offerings. 2 offerings of unbroken raw rice smeared with cow's pure ghee are offered during each Agnihotra. According to Ayurveda, cow's ghee is a tonic and a cardiac stimulant. The invigorating gases produced by the burning of cow's pure ghee act in balancing the cycle of nature. Cow's pure ghee removes all pathogenic bacteria and work effectively in purification of atmosphere, making it sufficient to fit for mankind, plant, and life on earth. A. Performing the sunrise Agnihotra. 1. Fire preparation. About 5 to 10 minutes before the sunrise, arrange pieces of dry cow dung cake in the Agnihotra pot. First take a small piece of cow dung cake and place it at the bottom of the pot. Now put guggle or camphor or cotton wick duly soaked in cow's ghee on the bottom piece. Then start arranging the pieces of cow dung cake around it, neatly leaving a little empty space in the center to put the offerings. Use a matchstick to lit the fire. If necessary, use the fan so that all pieces are fully ablaze. 2. Material. Take 2 pinchfuls of clean, unbroken rice grains on the palm of your left hand or in a small dish. Smother these rice grains with a few drops of cow's pure ghee. Divide this ghee-smeared rice grain in 2 parts. A. Morning Agnihotra. Exactly at the time of sunrise, Utter first mantra Surya Swaha and offer one part of rice grain to the fire with the words Swaha and recite Idam Suryaya Idam Namama to complete the first oblation. Offer other part of rice grain to the fire after saying Prajapate Swaha and complete it by uttering Idam Prajapate Idam Namama. Concentrate on the fire till the offering is fully burned. The morning Agnihotra is thus completed. B. Sunset Agnihotra. In the evening, before sunset, remove very carefully the morning Agnihotra ash from the pot and put it in a bag or a box specially kept aside for it. Repeat the procedure 1 and 2 of the morning Agnihotra. Exactly at sunset time, recite Agnay Swaha and offer the first part of the rice grain immediately with the words Swaha and utter Idam Prajapate Idam Namama. Concentrate on the fire till the offerings are fully burned. This concludes the evening Agnihotra. Chapter 6. Subtle Aspects of Yagna. What we discuss above is all about the material aspect of yagna. The extreme subtle effects are by far more important. Like humans, matter too has 3 bodies: physical, subtle, and causal. The body which eats, sleeps, walks, acts, which consists of blood, flesh, etc., is visible man's physical body. Subtle body is that which thinks, considers, and controls the physical body. Causal or astral body is that in which faith, convictions, aspiration, etc. are deeply rooted. The subtle body is much more powerful as compared to the physical body. The causal body is several times more powerful than subtle body. The causal energy underlining all the Havishya used in yagna is stimulated by the rituals prescribed for the yagna performance. Only then alone it is possible to effect derived changes in the mind and the consciousness of participants. If this is not done, the effects of yagna will be limited to the physical, chemical effect of vaporization of specific substances. No doubt, several benefits can be derived by these effects too. The fumes of yagna removes foul smell and spread soothing fragrance. It can also help in controlling virus infection and thereby promoting physical health. This is, however, an insignificant achievement as compared to the vast potential of yagna. Importance of yagna lies in the subtle power of the substance which are offered in the sacrificial fire. This selection of a particular wood or havan samagri depends on the purpose for which yagna is performed. In order to stimulate the causal energy of the offering, help of the science of mantras is taken. The conductor of yagna takes all precautions to ensure that the mantras are uttered, pronounced, and appropriated correctly in the pitch voice, rhythm, and tone duly prescribed. Strict discipline is required to be maintained, and there should be no deviation. Shabda, that is, the eternal and cosmic sound, is termed as Brahma. Ordinarily, it is used for exchanging of thoughts, but at the subtler and higher level of mantra, Shabda plays a role of getting transformed into potential energy. The entire basis of the mantra sastra stands on the footing that the selection, interlocking, and the appropriation of words in the mantra exist in such a way that it becomes possible to get miraculous advantage by making the causal energy of Shabda specifically enhanced and made more powerful. All the pots and even water used in the yagna are purified by specific mantras before use. The firewoods, that is sameda, are washed, dried, and used after they are duly sanctified by mantras. The process of Vedi Pujan and Yagnashala Pujan are resorted to make the Havan Kund live with awakened causal energy. This, as a whole, is the scientific process of mass medication which strengthens the spiritual basis of the yagna process. It is generally experienced that yagya atmosphere is very compatible and alluring for attending spiritual uplift. Dr. Motohama of Tokyo, Japan has studied the effects of Agnihotra with his instrument for measuring electric fields surrounding the bodies. He has reported that after performing an Agnihotra, the Anahata Chakra, cardiac plexus, exhibits similar condition that exists after psychic and spiritual healings. Mantras. Mantras are pronounced in yagna in accordance with the prescribed methods and rules. It benefits the persons concerned and stimulates useful vibration and causes beneficial excitements in the environment. Besides, it makes possible the stimulation of causal energy of the materials used in the yagna to such an extent that the hidden potentiality underlying them are greatly enhanced. Articles made sacred and pious with the help of mantras, if offered by the way of blessings, act more effectively than even medicines. It is by involving the causal energy of material, that is Havishya, before it is offered in the sacrificial fire that exemplary successful results are produced to such an extent that even an ordinary substance possesses extraordinary specific powers. If the Havishya is simply dropped in the fire, it only creates fragrant smell and proves useful for limited extent. Without chanting mantras, it will not be possible to derive benefits which are expected by performing a yagna. When a mantra is chanted collectively during a yagna, its sonic power increases exponentially due to 1. The collision of the sound waves generated by the mantra chanting with the thinnest flame screen of the choiring fire of yagna and the huge frequency vibrations generated thereby. Second, the subtle interactions of the sound waves of the mantra with the cosmic energy center, that is Devta, associated with their specific configuration as carry Shabda. Third, the fundamental thermodynamic effects associated with the fumigation of the sacrificed Havishya in the Havan fire. Fourth, the compounded effects of vital, mental, and causal energies of the people who are in performing the yagna. The sound waves of the mantras, instead of producing in their natural circular motion, they carried upwards in the spiral form by the force of the electrons generated by fumigation of the Havishya after sublation in yagna, that is fire. The mutual collisions of the fast-moving electrons along with the superimposition of the timely phased collective sonic pattern of the mantras result in the penetration in and out of the ionosphere. The collective chanting of mantras in specific rhythm in front of the yagna flames gives rise to a unique sound waves which have indefinite radiant effects in the outer space. The subtle effects of mantra on the consciousness are accomplished only if the reciters are authentic with respect to the proper and controlled use of their voice and tongue, in conformity to the integrity and sanctity of their thoughts, emotions, character, and deeds in every aspect of life. The subtle science of syllabuses described in the ancient Indian scriptures classified 4 levels of voice, that is Vani, namely the Vaikhari, Madhyama, Para, and Pashyanti, and highlights the importance of the spiritual practices, that is sadhana, of their realization through Gayatri and Yagna. The wonders of ultra and infra level of sound can be achieved by the refinement of the first and the most elementary of the above mentioned 4 levels of the Vani. The Madhyam type works in the domain of thought waves, and it refines further, leads to the subtler sound of Para and Pashyanti, which are described as the Vani for spiritual communication and conversation with the Brahma. If a spiritually refined expert performs a yagna, the mantras recited by him or her contains the impact of all the 4 awakened Vanis. Such yagnas indeed create a spiritually charged atmosphere which elevates the consciousness of all living beings, along with harmonizing the material system in nature. Advancement of ongoing research in the material-based analysis of the effects of yagnas, along with the subtle science of yagna and Gayatri, would ensure bringing a bright future for humanity and for the life on this earth as a whole. End of the book, The Integrated Science of Yagna. Jai Gurudev.